Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Breaking news coming out of Yellowstone. We've been following this. The email is working, and guys, the volume should be working good now. Made some modifications. I had a viewer send me an email, and they said there was an issue with Roku TV. So let me know if the volume's sounding better. It should sound a lot better. Hey, what's up, guys? Laura, Jeremy, just Abigail. Everything all good? All right, Oregon State. Mr. Sickle. If you guys want to become a Star Family member, links at the top. Breaking news, though, coming out of Yellowstone Supervolcano. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jeremy. Loud and clear, Brian. Renee, Ben, what's up? Chaz? Doing good, John. Thank you. How are you? Great volume. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, RC. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. As you saw the banner on the thumbnail on the video, for real, we've got an update coming out of Yellowstone. I mentioned it yesterday that I was following some information, some important information coming out of Yellowstone. I did some more research today, and the information is credible. So there's something going on at Yellowstone. We kind of figured that there was, considering we still have no seismographs at Yellowstone, at least we can access. Even up here at the University of Utah, they have seismographs all around the caldera, and there's just nothing to be seen other than the ones globally, and then over here, there's some that are scattered around the United States. And even this one here at Fox Creek, no data available. And this is also in Wyoming, not far from the supervolcano. So there's something going on. I'm going to give you guys an update here in just a moment. Look at this seismograph here. Are you serious? This kind of coincides with what we're going to look at here in this video. Look at how the needle is going all over the graph. Makes you wonder what's going on up there. Is the volcano on the verge? Very well could be. I mean, it hasn't erupted for a long time, and they keep saying that it's way overdue. So we'll come back and take a look at that information here in just a moment. We'll let some people hop on board. There's my moderator on board. We got the crew is here. We're ready to go. Good evening, Russ from the United Kingdom. Yeah, I know the animals. I don't know about the animals, Hayden. I did see some video footage of animals leaving the park headed south, but you know, I couldn't confirm that. In fact, one of the articles was old. That wasn't even from this year. So I don't know about the animals, but I do know that what you're going to see in this video is real. But I wanted to touch base on a couple things real quick that we talked about yesterday. And this was one of the things that our friend Graham, who just sent the first super chat. Thank you, Graham. University has changed its host server. I got that email, Graham. Thank you. In fact, I responded to you just about 45 minutes ago. Yes, they did change their server. But normally when they do something like that, they kind of give a heads up and they say, hey, we're going to be doing some maintenance. We're going to be offline for a while. But what I'm going to share with you guys shows something that's, it's the real deal. Gentleman lives up there, not far from Yellowstone. But we were over here in the Western Sahara yesterday. We were looking at the Sahara dust plume that's traveling towards the Caribbean, the U.S., the Bahamas. And we ran across this thing that looked like a giant fish. And as promised, I told you guys I would make time to modify the lay of the land here. And you can see what looks like we were talking about giant trees yesterday and just various interesting things on Google Earth. Well, there's the what looks like, I'm not saying that it is 100%, but it looks like a giant fish, right? And there's the eye that Graham was talking about right there. Another unique place on Google Earth. Here's the fish. You can see what maybe were scales at one time. I mean, that would have been one gigantic fish. But it's an interesting lay of the land. I mean, you can't deny it. That looks like a big fish laying there. Why not a turtle? Why not just some random surface features? Why is it shaped almost exactly like a fish? I don't know. It's another mystery, another Google Earth mystery. There's mysteries all over Google Earth, and I've got some more to share with you guys. One that I'm still working on. In fact, I've got it right over there on my secondary monitor where I have the chat going. I'm going to hop in the chat in and out of the video. I just kind of, while I was here, I modified some of the lighting and color of the famous rings over here in the Western Sahara. That is very cool as well. So there you go. What could be a giant fish in the Western Sahara. Kind of cool. Guys, there's some activity. Oh, with regard to hurricanes, real quick. Hurricane forecast. Anybody along the east coast of the U.S., the Caribbean, you guys are in good shape for the next 5 days at least. There shouldn't be any hurricanes forming in the Atlantic, in the Caribbean Sea, or the Gulf of America. Shouldn't be any. There's way too much dust out here, guys. Here's a quick look at the dust situation. Are you serious? You guys are getting free dust delivered free of charge from the west coast of Africa. This is a big plume of some sand particles that have been traveling over 4,000 miles. They've completely engulfed Florida. Now they've gone into the Gulf. And now, right now, as I do this video, those of you that live in Louisiana, southern Louisiana especially, and the Texas coast, Shanice and Sunny and Sneaky, you guys down there in the Houston area, you're getting some Sahara sand free of charge. Check it out. And here's the plume over here at nullschool.net. There is a little bit of break in the action right here in the center of the Atlantic. Could there be a hurricane form there? There could, because conditions are more favorable there, and quite possibly north of Puerto Rico, but it would have to do it very quickly because the sand is on the move and it's going to be getting thicker as we move forward in time. The darker tans represent denser Sahara particles, not necessarily sand. Sand is just heavy enough to not become airborne for 4,000 miles. But the particles can, and then they do. They'll do it all summer long, no joke. Okay, I've got my handy dandy note card here. And those of you, I got a message from a subscriber just earlier. Hey, Milton Ray Williams, Star Family member, Mary Wren. If you guys want to become Star Family members, links at the top. Sent me an email saying that people with Roku TVs were having volume issues. They should be good now, guys. I think I got things dialed in, made some modifications. So those of you that are watching this on TVs and quite possibly a Roku, should be good. So apologize for that. I don't know what was going on, but should be good now. Okay, things you don't see every day. Yellowstone hurricane update did that. We are going to, this is like if you were in Yellowstone right now, and this is what the ground would be like if you were in an earthquake. The ground kind of moves like that. I had a gentleman tell me that was in an earthquake up in the state of Washington many years ago. He said the ground was waving just like that. He looked off in the distance, and it was just a 6.0. And a 6.0 is a strong earthquake. It's a respectable earthquake, but not as strong as a 7, obviously, or a 7.5. But he said the ground was waving like that. And looking at the seismographs, these are the only ones that we have. From here, we're going to go up to Yellowstone, and I want to show you guys something that a gentleman has been posting that lives close to Yellowstone. And from what he's showing, it does look like that the ground is indeed moving. I see the second super chat come through over there. Thank you, Shauna. You're very welcome. Thank you for the super chat, and you have the purple #1 crown. Good for you. Okay, looking at the seismographs, you can see, I think there was a 6.0. Let me look real quick. You guys probably saw it come through on your feeds. It was a 6.5 down in Indonesia. Fairly shallow. That's why it, let me give you a thumbs up over there, Shauna. Big thumbs up for Shauna. Shauna's the second super chat. Thank you, Shauna. But anyway, the seismographs around the world will sometimes pick up the primary wave of a shallow 6.4, 6.5, especially anything north of a 6.5. And this one did. You can see the energy showed up in China, which was the closest. Even showed up over here in South Africa. That's the shallow 6.5 that occurred a few hours ago down in Indonesia. Should have shown up on the seismographs up here in the United States, and it did. These are the only seismographs that I'm aware of, other than a few up in the Pacific Northwest. but that's the energy from the primary wave of the 6.5. So this energy does travel all around the world if they're shallow enough. This energy, whatever is going on up at Yellowstone, I want to show you guys something here. This is pretty bizarre. This is activity a gentleman's been sharing from his ranch. He lives near Yellowstone. And look at what he's been posting. Let me see if I can get it does have a little bit of volume, or it did have. It's kind of hard to decipher. He's kind of new at the app. He just noticed that the ground was moving. He knew this was a kind of a big deal. And this is the video from yesterday, the 27th. What he did, he took a half full bottle of water and set it on the ground where the ground was moving. Watch what the ground does. See the ground vibrating? See the ground vibrating right there? Now let me pause it real quick. The only data that we have from Yellowstone, we don't have any today, but we can go back in time. We can go back to the 16th. I think that was the last day I saw any data from the supervolcano. Let's look. Nope, nothing on the 16th. It must have been the 15th, the day before. Okay. Now can we connect a dot here? Does what that gentleman just showed in the video look like this seismograph right here? Let's look at it again. Looks like it to me. So this may be happening in multiple locations. He's obviously not at the same exact location as the seismograph. See the ground kind of, you can see cracks in the ground. Obviously it's dry, but nevertheless there's cracks in the ground. Look at that. Listen to the sound. That's the earth moving. Grand Teton Fissure, Yellowstone. Could be, Graham. Thank you for the super chat. Wow. This man lives fairly close to the Yellowstone Supervolcano. He's never noticed this type of activity before. And coincidentally, the seismograph, look at the ground bouncing there. That's probably why that needle on the seismograph was bouncing. Wow. That's definitely shocking. No other way to describe that. That's shocking. Wow. And right there, he just said, what in the world is going on? Look, see the ground fissure right there? Small fissure. You know there's other places that are doing the same thing. Wow. Guys, there's activity at and around the Yellowstone Supervolcano caldera. Oh my goodness, yeah. So the seismograph that we've been following it for just over a month, right? It was up here along the northern rim of the caldera, right up in through here. Right up in this area here. The area over here near Hebgen Lake, that's the northwestern quadrant. That area is habitually busy. It's always busy with small like earthquakes and little tremors like that, magma intrusion. In fact, right here near Hebgen Lake, that's the location of the largest earthquake ever recorded at Yellowstone, a 7.2 magnitude back in 1959. This may be where the activity's at. All I do know is that up here along the northern rim of the caldera is where this activity was originating from. And we've been following this for 5 weeks. and then it went dark, went offline. The 15th was the last day we had any data. And now if we go to today, generate a report, there's nothing there. There hasn't been anything there since the 16th. So that's a pretty big deal, guys. Yellowstone showing some highly unusual, concerning activity. The ground is up there bouncing around in places, and that gentleman had never seen that before. Wow. So something that we're watching very close, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's just get out of the way. You know what I mean? That's all we can do. Looking at mountRainier, the numbers there continue to go up. They're not slowing down. The earthquakes at the summit of mountRainier, they're increasing. Now up to 1,055. So as I mentioned earlier, I look at this area as, look at all the earthquakes that have just occurred within the last hour. 2 in Texas, 1, 2 in southern Nevada, multiples over in California. The red circles are earthquakes that have occurred in the last 60 minutes. Oh wow, look. That's in southeastern Idaho, a 3.2. Wow. That just occurred, guys. 2149. Less than basically, right at 30 minutes ago. That's not on a fault. Wow, there's movement going on in the northern hemisphere. No doubt about it. I've never seen this much movement before, all at one time. You've even got an earthquake over here in the middle of Nebraska and Kansas. Talk about earthquakes in diverse places. Wow. And my moderator just sent me one in, another one. 5.1 just happened. Maguire Island, that's down here south of New Zealand. Sure enough, another one. Why does it say, oh wow, they just upgraded that to a 7.0? Oh, that is a 7.0, another one. Wow, guys, things are getting busy, busy, busy. Not only in the northern hemisphere, but the southern hemisphere as well. That was a shallow 7.0 magnitude earthquake that just occurred right now as we are doing this live stream. Right in the middle of the live stream, you got to be kidding me. Okay, this has tsunami potential simply because of its depth. It's only 6.2 miles deep, and that's a strong earthquake, and that will show up on the seismographs. These are the global seismographs right here. Let me refresh it. Watch at the bottom. The bottom of the seismograph is the newest data, and this is a 24-hour graph. So we're going to see that energy of the 7.0 easily simply because it was so shallow. Probably, let's see if it has a tsunami component. Almost have to have, right? It's not showing anything. I don't believe there's a tsunami. Let's look. No tsunami warning, so it must have been a slip fault. Okay, all right, fair enough. But that is a super shallow earthquake coming in at 7.0 magnitude. There was a 6.2 2 days ago. Now we've got a 7.0. Wow, activity all around the world. Then the big quake we just saw earlier today in Indonesia, in the Indonesia area. Let's see exactly where that was at. Thank you, moderator. Appreciate that. I did not get the alert on my phone. I mean, I did, but okay, the 6.5 in Sabang, Indonesia, 11:41 today. It's a lot of energy, guys. 6.3, 6.6. I mean, it's just one after another after another. We've seen an earthquake out here between Hawaii and California. That's something kind of new to the menu. We don't normally see earthquakes out here in the middle of nowhere, but we're seeing them now. And look at all the earthquakes. We had the 7-pointer. Then this one here occurred not far from the Yellowstone Supervolcano. Wow. Look at all the earthquakes out east here. I mean, that's not a lot, but still, I mean, an earthquake swarm still occurring. Not anything new, but we had a swarm in northern New Jersey. I mean, really? Oh, thank you for the super chat, Jorge. Jorge GTZ, or is it George? You can tell the email's working. It's chiming away. Keep them coming, guys. If you have photos you'd like to share, reports at MrMBB333.com. Greatly appreciate all the photos and the videos. Keep them coming. Love to look at the things that you guys are seeing all around the world. We're seeing some activity up here around Yellowstone. As I just showed you guys, for those of you that are just joining, a gentleman that he's a rancher up there not far from Yellowstone. This is what his ground is doing. This is a homemade seismograph, if you will. I mean, it's the best thing you can do. He's just doing this on the fly. Set a bottle of water down. And then it just falls over because the ground is literally moving under his feet. And he's even asking what's going on, you know. This is for those of you that are just joining. Check this out. Watch the next segment. It gets louder. And he's been reporting of loud sounds that he's not using. Thank you, Susan. This is the Earth. That was the Earth doing that, guys, near Yellowstone. So I think these seismographs were trying to tell us a story. Thank you, Susan Donahue. Susan Donahue, the latest. Let me give you a thumbs up, Susan. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. That's very kind. A lot of earthquake activity. Just as we're doing this live stream, guys, look at the red dots. Are you serious? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that I can see just here without even zooming in. 10 counting the one in the southern hemisphere. Earth is trying to tell us something. Earth is feeling something. There is a shift underway. Right now, everything's contained. We've got 7-pointers happening without tsunamis that are shallow. That's great. We have Yellowstone, though, on the other hand, that's up here vibrating. And that is a very big deal. You know, I have Yellowstone over here at the homepage of the website, and this is where you go to send pictures and videos. Right there is the place to go. And all of these tabs are a source of information. Yellowstone power outages. You can observe the CO2, SO2 in the atmosphere. But the Yellowstone tab is one that we go to every day. And here recently, there's just been no data available. I think we know why now, right? I think we know why. Guys, I have a really bizarre video that I had queued up over here on the runway. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. It's really good, though. It's really good. But I've got some more really good videos to share with you guys. I've done the hurricane update, watching the earthquakes unfold here in real time. This is wild to see this many earthquakes happening while we're doing a live stream. Are you serious right now? My, oh my, oh my. Thank you for another super chat come through. Thank you, guys. You're very kind today. Thank you, Michelle. Let me give you a like. Appreciate that, Michelle. Thank you. Okay, guys, here we go. I've got things you don't see every day. These are some things that I put together. These are a lot of times by request. People ask me, where's your sky phenomena videos and things like that. I used to do them in every single video, and I kind of do it now once a week. I keep a feature photo over here at the homepage of the website. I update this every day, 24 hours. The photo will stay up. There's another one. Thank you, Graham. Interpolate quakes. Too much pressure everywhere. Graham, you're a smart man. Thank you for the super chat. This photo was sent in by Sandra out of Burke Burnett, Texas. Get a load of that sky, would you? Wow. Okay, here we go. You're going to see some more wow stuff. Things that make you go, Elena out of California. Check this out. This was from just a couple of days ago. Looked up and saw this in the sky, in the evening sky. How do you explain that? There it is right there. Up there all by itself. It wasn't even a white cloud. It was a darker colored, odd-shaped cloud. Fairly large. In fact, it was pretty good size. The back of it seems to have a unique shape. We'll just leave it at that. And so does the front. Almost looks like a speaker microphone like this here. Look. Looks like that. That's in the sky these days? How? How is something like that in the sky? Make that make sense. You can't. Her and another witness were completely stupefied. When they looked up and saw that, they stopped what they were doing to film that. Here it is in a different format. I just kind of darkened it up a little bit, that's all, to make it a little more dramatic, and then I lighten it up. There you go. What is going on? I mean, between the earthquakes and we got Yellowstone, we got to look at the lighter side too, you know, and look at the unusual things going on in the sky. But the Yellowstone is a big deal. And for those of you that are just joining, I will share the video again of what's happening at Yellowstone or around Yellowstone. It's like pressure is building, guys, and the ground is vibrating up there. KCK out of Pleasanton, California. Check this out, lights flashing in the sky. She said this was not AI. This actually did happen. And I analyzed this video, and I came to the conclusion that these were not drones. They were too big. They're very stationary, and drones can remain stationary, but these weren't drones either. They weren't airplanes or helicopters. So what were they? They weren't weather balloons up there collecting data. Typically, weather balloons don't go up there and blink and flash. In fact, these are probably at 10 to 15,000 feet. Weather balloons are normally at 58, 60, 63,000 feet. They're usually very high up in the sky. These are not that high up. They're no higher than 20. So whatever they were a mystery. They weren't identifiable. So very cool photo or video there out of Pleasanton, or out of California. Now check this out. This is a video sent in by Karen, taken on July 12th. And the first thing you're going to say, oh, this is the light activity coming from the ground. She said it wasn't. And after analyzing this, it occupies so much of the sky. I was like quite taken back too by how big, such a large scale this was. And it looks like the light, wherever it's coming from, is originating from a higher altitude up in the sky, not originating from the ground. Notice its angle. It's coming horizontally across the sky. I'm going to compare it to lights that are coming from the ground, and you'll see this is the original speed right here. So whatever this was going on, I'm waiting to hear back from Karen exactly where she saw this, because this is some very bizarre footage, by the way. Now watch the next video. You're going to see lights coming up from the ground, and you'll see that this has a very mysterious component to it. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know if that's some sort of a natural event that's going on. Okay, here's an example of lights coming up from the ground. Neil out of South Wales, United Kingdom, also July of 2025. Notice the lights coming up from the ground. Then I inserted the lights that we just saw. See the difference? The ones that we just saw are horizontal. These are vertical, at a vertical angle coming up from the ground. There's really no comparison. They're totally different, but doing the same thing. The one on the left is massive, was covering all of the sky that she could see. These aren't covering but a small fraction of the sky, and those were originating from the ground. So another mystery, Atkin, Minnesota, Brian Johnson. This video was taken yesterday, and you can see it almost looks like it's a beautiful video. Looks like it's containing, the sky is containing some Sahara sand or some sand particulates. That's what it will do to the sky. It will do the same thing to sunsets and sunrises. Check this out. You guys are in for a treat in this video. You know how every once in a while people will submit videos and they'll see what looks like the sun pulsing? 9 out of 10 times it's the camera trying to adjust to the very heavy light saturation. This video contains little, if any, light saturation, extremely bright light from the sun. But look at what's going on in the sky. Check it out. Norm from Pennsylvania. This is a sunrise, by the way. It looks like a sunset. It's not. It's a sunrise. Notice how it was pulsing? Norm's a very experienced sky watcher. He sends me videos and has for years. He's never sent one where the twilight was pulsing like that. And there's not a whole lot of cloud interference there that could have possibly initiated that. Again, another mystery. We've got earthquakes popping off all around the world. We got Yellowstone up there. The pressure's mounting. The seismographs are disappearing. There's a lot going on, guys. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. I'll keep you guys updated on all of this high-octane energy that's sweeping the earth literally today, has been for a while, and I'm sure it will continue in the future. Mike out of Midland, Texas, 7/24 of 2025. He looked up and saw this in the daytime sky. And at first he thought, okay, it's just a routine airplane, you know, with a contrail. The engines are hot. Keep this in mind, guys. When you see a trail up in the sky, engines are very hot. They're blowing out hot exhaust coming out of the back of the engines. Up at this altitude here, 30,000 feet, 25,000 feet, it's cold. It's very cold. So the hot-cold interaction between the engine exhaust and just the atmosphere itself is going to create a contrail. But look what happens. Now the engine's still blowing out hot exhaust. Watch what happens. And then right in here, right there, it just stopped. Now keep in mind, the air up there is still cold. At that altitude, the air is probably 0. I mean, it's very cold. The heat exhaust coming out of the engine is probably 200 or 300 degrees. No, and that'll create condensation. That'll create moisture. Where did it go? It's just like it turned off. It did turn off. Spotted from Midland, Texas, 4 days ago. I wanted to revisit this anomaly that we looked at yesterday. Here we go, going across the top of the screen. I found the full video going all the way across the screen. Whatever it was just super weird. I zoomed in close. Here we go. You just don't see this type of behavior on here every day. There's another super chat. Thank you, Jim Davidson. That was on August of 2023. The dancing branch, here we go. This is just a variety of different things, guys. I'm gonna show the Yellowstone video again when I get through this. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for the super chat, appreciate that. I had blinking lights and couldn't record it phone. You know, thank you, I appreciate you trying. Thanks for sharing. I'm still getting videos every day of the mysterious blinking lights. The phenomena is still sweeping the earth. And I share the lights about twice a week now. I'm at 2,100 different examples that have been sent in. 2,100 just to me since November of 2024. St. Louis, Missouri, Gary and Luann, July 2025. This just happened. Check this out. I get these about once a year. Legitimate ones. And this is a legit one. There's no wind, and you'll be able to see that there's no wind. The branch is moving back and forth on its own. What you do, how you can decipher whether this is actually moving on its own or not, it's a very simple technique. Put it in fast forward, and that's what we're going to do. Watch what happens when we put it in fast forward. When you put it in fast forward, if there's wind in the area, the other leaves, you'll be able to see them kind of vibrate like Yellowstone's doing right now. So when I put it in fast forward, you'll see the only thing that changes is the branch that's moving by itself. We saw one 3 or 4 years ago. Look, he stops it, and it starts moving again on its own. We saw one 3 or 4 years ago out of Pennsylvania by Lisa. It did it all summer long. Fast forward reveals the truth. It's the only one moving, and the ones that are moving next to it are because of its movement. The rest of them are perfectly still. So that tells you 0 wind. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just so bizarre. So it's feeling some sort of energy and it's trying to tell a story. The sky flame, here we go. Check this out. These were some weird photos that were sent in. Also involving, I believe this was a sunset though, not a sunrise. Emma from Surfside Beach, Texas, 7/19 of 2025. Notice what I'm calling a flame up in the sky. For several minutes, this thing was up there. This wasn't an airplane, wasn't a helicopter, wasn't a contrail of any kind. It was just some sort of a weird, what looked like a flame. And you can see down at the horizon where the sun was below the horizon, you can see what's left of the twilight, and it looks kind of orange. And the reason it looks orange is more than likely because of the Sahara sand. Texas has been dealing with the Sahara sand particulates now for 2 or 3 weeks. And that's probably what's causing the orange sunset. But it shouldn't be causing something like this to appear up in the sky. Looks like a flame just sitting up there. And not only in one location, I've got another location where there looks like a flame falling from the sky. It's the exact same color. And again, this sat there for, I don't know how long, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. She sent me several photos that she took during the sunset process, and this stayed there the whole time. Make that make sense. I mean, you know, guys, a lot of people say, oh, that's AI. Well, this isn't AI, obviously. I wouldn't share AI with you guys. You don't need AI. Just go outside and look around. I call this one the falling fire because it's the same color as what you just saw, just a different location. In fact, on the other side of the earth, over in Iraq, Angela via Press TV, 7/14 of 2025. This was in the sky above Iraq. Did you see what happened? Watch how it separates. Something kind of separates off of it, and this isn't a Chinese lantern. It just kind of stays up there. Chinese lanterns are always at the mercy of the wind. They just kind of do what the wind guides it to do. This thing here kind of has a mind of its own. I don't believe it's a drone. And it just kind of hangs around up there for a few minutes, and then you're going to see it come down towards the ground and disappear. Another flame-like object in the sky, and you can see it does look like a flame. But that's coming down too straight to be a Chinese lantern. It would have been drifting with the wind, like they all do. Seen hundreds over the years. That wasn't a Chinese lantern. Exactly what it was is wide open to interpretation. It could have been a lot of things. I don't think it was a drone. Clearly wasn't an airplane or a helicopter. For those of you that have just joined, I want to take you back to the Yellowstone Supervolcano, or near the Supervolcano caldera. Those of you that have not seen this yet, here we go. We've been following Yellowstone. We follow Yellowstone every day over here. Every video, we go to Yellowstone and look at the seismographs. For almost 2 weeks now, we haven't been able to see any activity at the supervolcano. This activity showed up just yesterday. And what's going on here, the ground is vibrating at the supervolcano, in the vicinity of the supervolcano. This gentleman made his version of a homemade seismograph. He made this on the fly, and this was very quick thinking. He wanted to show something that could reveal what was going on in front of him. So the bottle started vibrating, absorbing the vibration of the ground right there. See, it's kind of bouncing around. The ground is literally bouncing around in the Yellowstone area. Where exactly this is, I don't know. I know it's close to Yellowstone. That's all he would say. Look, look, look. You know how heavy that is? The only thing strong enough to do that would be the Earth itself, other than a big, large machine, and there's no big, large machines there because you would hear it. Look at that. This is for those of you that are just joining. That's happening near Yellowstone. So maybe, just maybe that's why we're not able to see the seismographs at the supervolcano. We haven't had any data for 12 days now. 12 days. Let's see if we can see the energy from the 7.0. You ready? Here we go. Let's update the global seismographs, and we should start to see the primary wave. Yep, right there it is, I think. No? It's down in China. Oh. No data there. See, we've got more seismographs offline than we do on. I don't remember ever seeing that. Yeah, I think we're starting to see the primary wave. This is up in China. So it's going to go up the latitudes into China, into Hawaii, Japan, the western United States. It'll work its way across the United States to the eastern United States. Here's the United States seismographs. Let's update it real quick. Here we go. Energy hasn't shown up yet, but it will, because that was a very shallow earthquake that just occurred. Still earthquakes up here. Let's refresh the page, see what we got going on. Any new ones? Those are the ones that we just looked at earlier. Just had a 7.0. Down in, email's working good, guys. Did you guys just send an email? Keep them coming. I love the emails. Love the drop boxes too. But if you send something in the drop box, please include your first name and general location, and I'll take it from there. Okay, there was an aftershock, 5.4, also at 10 kilometers deep. That's 6.2 miles. There's the 6.9 now. It's been downgraded just by 1/10, a fraction of a fraction. 6.9 now instead of a 7.0. It started out initially as a 7.0, and you can see it's now 6.9. Still about the same, but believe it or not, a 7.0 is just a little bit stronger. So we'll still see activity on the seismographs at some point. Way down here in the deep southern hemisphere, it takes a while for that energy to travel. It's traveling right now through the Pacific, and it'll make its way up to the seismographs. I guarantee it. It won't show up as a super strong earthquake like this one here, even though it was stronger than the 6.5. it'll still show up. It's just going to take longer to get here, but it's on its way. Yes, indeed. It is definitely coming. Okay. Things you don't see every day. Guys, I've got so much stuff. Oh, the sky phenomenon. Things you don't see every day. Just thinking out loud here. I've got so many windows open down here. You have no idea. This little guy here, I wanted to share him with you guys, or her. She's in a tree out in our front yard. Check her out. Taking care of her youngster right there. And I mean, we can almost reach up and touch her. She's just above the yard, not even 10 feet. Very trusting. She's out there. Her young in there just hatched a couple days ago, well, about 4 days ago. Thought you guys would appreciate that because we've seen hawks here recently. We've seen owls here recently. Hey, what else I got? Oh, the flash update. I want to share this with you guys because I'm still getting these, and I noticed someone had mentioned them in the comment section about the flashing lights. I want to say hi to some of you guys. What's going on, Trina? Erosion head. Hello, Mary Jane. Yeah, they're out in the tree. Where am I at? Let me get my bearings here. Right behind me. They're right out that way. Yep, she's a good mama. She's been sitting up there every day for the last several weeks. Guys, none of these are bright, so you don't have to go anywhere. I wanted to share these with you guys because I haven't done an update, I don't think, all week, or at least in the last few days. Tennessee, Kathy, July 2025. This started back in November of 2024. I had not received one video of mysterious lights prior to November of 2024. Now I'm getting them every day. So something's changed. Whether it's explainable or whether it's not explainable, something's definitely changed. Carl C. out of Florida. This is just from yesterday, 7/27 of 2025. I'm telling you, I've probably got new videos over here in the Dropbox. It continues to sweep the earth. This one here has narration. Hold on, I want you to listen to what this person has to say. Check this out.
It's been doing this for a couple of days, even when I turn it off. Turn it off, turn it back on, and it still does it. I've even waited 24 hours. It's 2:21. Morganton, North Carolina.
Morganton, North Carolina. This is a phenomenon that's sweeping the earth, and that was sent in by Cindy S. But obviously that wasn't Cindy. Here's example number 4. This one does not have narration. Regine Aslin, July 2025. Notice the eerie pulse. There's 4 or 5 lights there down that street. You see that? Looks like something out of the set of a movie, right? The lights just kind of go off and then on. And then they do it again, off and then on. What would cause that? You know that's not bulbs. There's too many of them. We're even getting examples in cars. This is a gentleman's car, David Brown, July of 2025. This just happened. We've seen car headlights. Now we're seeing car dash instruments being affected by this. And I'm on the side of an EMP, some sort of a natural EMP possibly. Dirty electricity's being created from an EMP source. Florida, John G, 7/14 of 2025. He said this little device right here only does this during solar activity. Like when there's sunspots facing the earth or we're dealing with a CME, that's the only time that thing typically flashes like that. He said any other time it's good. Little Rock, Arkansas, Marsha Price, 7/25 of 2025. Again, guys, I've never received a video, and I've received thousands of videos over the years. I've never received one of this type of phenomena until November of 2024. And now it's just every single day. I'm over 2,100 different videos. 2,100 different people have experienced this and have shared them with me. So you know there's probably hundreds of thousands of people that are seeing this. This is a camera in this young lady's garage. Who sent this in? Noelle out of Montgomery, Texas. The light on the garage door opener in her garage, it wasn't flashing, just staying on all night. And found that kind of unusual. There shouldn't be any power going to the light because it's off, you know. It's just rogue and random. You never know when or where this is going to show up. Waikiki, Hawaii. Hyun in July of 2025. Looked out the hotel window and saw these 2 lights over there just dancing around only ones doing it in the middle of Oahu. Raleigh, North Carolina, Nate, 7/25 of 2025. Notice the lights underneath the canopy at this gas station. Seen this a lot. In fact, I've seen some canopies where probably 80% of the lights were flashing. Janesville, Wisconsin, Azane, 7/7 of 2025. These were in daylight. This one over here was flickering on the left, and then the one over here on the right. I'm going to zoom in on it, and you're going to be able to see it flickering also in broad daylight. But like she said, they were flickering at different frequencies. The one on the left was flickering faster than the one on the right. Chris P. out of Waco, Texas, July 20th of 2025. Lights up here, rogue and randomly, flashing for unknown reasons. Once again, guys, I've received just over 2,100 examples since November of 2024. 2,100, over 800 now, 802 here in the United States. The phenomena continues to sweep the Earth. Looking at the Earth-facing side of the sun, you guys are like, where's the solar flares been? That's a good question. There hasn't been any solar flaring for several weeks because of the absence of sunspots in active regions over here on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Look at the sunspots that are there are small, and they're pretty much inactive. They're not really doing anything. Looking at the GOES X-ray flux, these are the solar flares that have occurred in the last 7 days. I'm updating the chart right here to 7 days. And as you can see, 7 days of quietness. In fact, we've had 14 days of quietness. So there's not much going on in the world of solar storms and CMEs and solar flares. It's been very quiet. But trust me, it's the calm before the storm. The solar flux, which I keep track of over here at the homepage of the website, is 143. And that's reflective of sunspots on the Earth-facing side of the sun. That's how that's measured. And that's like average, maybe a little bit above average, but not much. All in all, it's really pretty quiet. The Sahara sand is not quiet. It's not slowing down any. If anything, it looks like it's increasing at times. That will continue all summer long. And there may be a tropical storm try to develop right here in between the plumes of sand as they travel across the Atlantic, but more than likely they'll stay out in the ocean. They won't make their presence known anywhere near land, and they won't last very long because in order for that sand to travel 4,000 miles, sand particulates, there has to be a certain amount of wind shear. The wind is what's carrying it. Hurricanes don't like wind shear, so whatever develops out there won't last very long, rest assured. Let's see if there's any new earthquakes in the last 10 minutes since we've been over here. Aftershocks down in McGuire Island, 6.9, 7.0. Wow, there's been a huge increase in earthquake activity, guys. Not only in the northern, as we can see, in the southern as well. It's just that there's more earthquakes in the northern hemisphere than there are in the southern hemisphere. And there's a good reason for that. There's more landmass in the northern hemisphere than there is in the southern hemisphere. So naturally, there's going to be more earthquake activity, and there's more seismographs. But we can't see all the seismographs, right? And as promised, I'll show you guys the Yellowstone. Oh, here's a weird storm I saw yesterday. Do you guys happen to see this on the global scene? I don't think I've ever seen a storm quite this unique. It has a very large presentation, probably 400, maybe 500 miles wide, and the very unique. I don't know, it just had a very unusual appearance to it. I don't think I've ever seen a storm quite like that where there was a void in the middle of it like that. It wasn't a cohesive storm. It's still up there. It's a little more cohesive now, but just kind of weird. That's all. I found that a little bit unusual. It was even over here on Google Earth, or Zoom Earth. There it is. Zoom Earth as well. Let me get my handy dandy zoom it. There we go. Come on, zoom it. Light up. There you go, buddy. There it is on Zoom Earth. Not anything nefarious, just odd, that's all. Back to Yellowstone one more time. This is kind of what the ground's doing on a much more milder scale. Hopefully it stays that way, but nevertheless, there's activity at the Yellowstone Supervolcano caldera. And when there's activity at any supervolcano, that's a big deal. That is a very big deal. Just like the 1,000+ earthquakes that have occurred in the last 30 days up atop of Mount Rainier. That's a big deal too. Here we go. Yellowstone one more time for the people that just joined. Here we go, Ski. He just said right there, what in the world is going on? He's never experienced this before. This right here is the one that got me. Look at this. Ground's just... What? That's pretty wild, guys. Now the email just came through. That is pretty wild. So activity at the supervolcano caldera, unlike anything I've ever seen. I'd mentioned, that I'd go up there and make my own seismographs so that we could have something to look at. I didn't know how I would get it online, but that gentleman right there made his own. Got a system out here south and east of Honolulu. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to too much. It's going to be a Cat 1 here in maybe just a few hours. Just staying well south of the big island of Hawaii and moving due west. The waters out there are a little cooler. They're not quite as warm as the water in the Atlantic. It's going to remain a tropical storm primarily after it looks like it's forecasted to become a Cat 2 Tuesday by 11 p.m. But again, well south of the big island. That's why I didn't really talk about it. There could be two more. Well, right there they are. There could be a couple of more form out here in the next couple of days. But again, they'll remain like what's called fish storms. And fish storms are storms that don't make landfall, which are the best kind. We don't want fish storms at all. Or we like fish storms. We don't like the storms that make landfall. So those, again, won't be a problem. In fact, these secondary ones back here shouldn't even become more than a Category 2. At best, this one here, I don't even think it's going to become a Category 1. But right now, there are 4 areas of contention out here we could talk about. Nothing over here on the Atlantic side, and we know why, right? We know why because of, where is it? Where's my little dust? Right there. It's just, yikes. That just gets everything just dirty. I'd rather deal with a foot of snow, man. I really would. Okay, so we have one that's a hurricane. This one's a tropical storm, Kelly. This is Iona. There's way more activity over here in the Pacific than there is the Atlantic because of the dust. And this one here is Invest 98E, and this one here is Invest 99E. So there's 4 areas in the Eastern Pacific swirling away, will become some form of a tropical storm, tropical depression, quite possibly a Hurricane 1, 2. I doubt a 3 because conditions, at least with warm water, is just not there. The waters aren't as warm over here. They're warm enough to create a storm, but this one here, a Cat 2, tomorrow night by 11 p.m., remaining a Cat 2, or 11 a.m. actually, remaining a Cat 2 for 24 hours, and then back down to a Category 1. Again, here's the big island of Hawaii. Here's the storm activity. I suppose you could see a little bit of increased surf on the south side of the big island. Tomorrow night, maybe into Tuesday afternoon. But as far as any type of significant rain, flooding, high winds, it's just simply not going to do that. It's a small storm anyway. It's well south of the big island, and it's not that big. It's a very small storm. We've seen much bigger. We've seen much bigger than that out here in the Pacific. And the Pacific, at least the Eastern Pacific, is not necessarily known for its really big storms. Now, the Western Pacific, that's a different story. There's a storm forming over here. In fact, right there it is. Crosa. This one could become a Category 4. And it's going to move north along the east coast of Japan, not making landfall in Japan, steering to the right and then making its way up into the North Pacific. The farther it gets to the north, the colder the water gets. The colder the water gets, the weaker the storms are. But this thing could have a component that makes its way all the way over to the west coast of Canada. We'll have to wait and see. It could have a hybrid that branches off of it midway through the Pacific that goes all the way to the British Columbia, Prince Rupert area, right up in here in about a week. So we'll have to wait and see. But right now it's a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm. That's not a problem. There's a little storm making landfall near Shanghai here in the next 24 hours. Again, it's very small. Not a big deal, not anything to really be concerned with, but there's more activity, way more activity out here in the Pacific than there is the Atlantic. You won't see much of anything going on over here for a while, as long as that sand is there. That makes the air super, super dry. And hurricanes obviously like moist, warm air. They like an absence of wind shear, and they like warm water. Now this right here could maybe develop into something, but again, I seriously doubt it because the window of opportunity is closing. It's very, very small. Even if it did form in there, it won't last long. It wouldn't last more than a couple days in that environment. That is a very unfavorable environment for storms, hurricanes. And this is the main, what they used to call the main development region, right down here where you see the orange and yellow and red traveling through there. Storms really don't even develop there anymore. But years ago, that's where they used to develop because that's where it got its name, the main development region. So that tells you that this Sahara sand phenomena is something that hasn't been around forever. Otherwise, this area wouldn't have been called the main development region because there's nothing main about it at all with regard to hurricanes. Hurricane couldn't form out there if it tried. The laws of physics won't allow it. No way. So how did it get its name, main development region, when it's always like this? That tells you it's something fairly new, right? Yeah, whenever the sun reaches its peak on June 23rd, right here is the 23.6 degree north latitude. Once the sun reaches its peak in the summertime in the northern hemisphere, here comes the dust. It does it every year. It's been doing it now for the last 10 years, but I don't remember it doing this 15, 16 years ago. So I don't know, at least in my reality, that's something that's fairly new. But boy, it's consistent. Once it started, it's been consistent for the last several years. Absolutely. But as far as any hurricanes today, tomorrow, the next day, no, nothing happening over here. It's quiet in the Atlantic, quiet in the Caribbean, and should remain quiet in the Gulf of America. You guys got me the other day. I said Mexico a couple of times, and I was just trying to get through all the tabs and things I got up there, and I'm just so used to calling it that. I've called it that for years, just like the rest of you guys. And yes, you did get me. There's a storm down here off the east coast of South America that at one time had wind gusts of 100 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour down here, which is kind of unusual for this time of year. Not necessarily unheard of, but yeah, that's a little bit weird. I even went to check it out on Zoom Earth. I'm like, okay, why is there a cyclone down here? There shouldn't be. And it's not a full-fledged cyclone. It's just an odd storm. Like there's an odd storm there in the southern hemisphere. And if you were to draw a straight line, which we can, it goes right up there to the Bering Sea, where there's also an odd storm. It's like they're at opposite ends of the earth. I don't know. They're just weird. That's all. Not anything nefarious, just weird. Okay, we don't want to measure anymore. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, you can measure, and you can see the wildfire activity out west here. High and dry. We should see some monsoons. You can see they're trying to develop out here above New Mexico and Colorado, parts of eastern Arizona, but all in all, on the edge of the monsoon activity, you can still see the wildfire smoke up here at the Grand Canyon. Yes, huge wildfire at the Grand Canyon. You can see it on satellite right there. Still not out, still going strong. And one day, last week, I believe it was, the wildfire smoke was coming straight south and it was impacting all of us down here in the Phoenix area. So the wildfire smoke was traveling, well, it can travel thousands of miles, but on that day, it was traveling due south, a couple hundred miles, impacted our whole Phoenix metro area. Air quality, I believe, was at the top of the chart that day, or the day before, day after. Air quality was at 500, and the max is 500. So it's hard to believe that the air quality was that bad. They were advising everybody, not just certain groups of people, everybody to stay inside that day. The air quality was so bad. Can you imagine what the air quality is right there near those wildfires? Unbelievable. So factor in wildfire smoke with a little bit of Sahara sand. I mean, that makes for a nasty air quality rating. I mean, it really and truly does. And there's sand coming in Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and they're getting, as you can see, a little bit of wildfire smoke. So if you're in those areas, you know, I would limit your time outside until this kind of clears out, because you're getting both wildfire smoke and Sahara sand. Ay, ay, ay. All right, guys. Yeah, Gulf of America. I know, Bruce, I got it today, right? I got it. I know the other day I said Gulf of Mexico twice, and you guys corrected me, and I needed to be corrected. I said it wrong. It is indeed now the Gulf of America. It even says so on Google Earth. Let's go to Google Earth and see. There's our area that we're watching very close. There's the Yellowstone right there, the mighty supervolcano. And it is indeed right there. Gulf of America. Yes, it certainly is. I got some places on Google Earth I want to share with you guys. I had a couple of places over here. I'll just show you real quick. I don't even think they're there anymore. One, because they updated the maps, which is cool. There was a jet right here. Just something rogue that appeared in the Google Earth platform. And then up here, there were a couple of ghost ships, and they're not there anymore either. There's something there. I think it's like some sort of a weird image overlay. But if you look around up there in the New York harbor, you'll see, I'm assuming they're sunken ships. I've looked around up there and found a few. You can find some if you go up there and look around, but a couple of them have disappeared off of the map. Let's see what the earthquakes are doing at Rainier. 1055, still 1055. Any more big earthquakes? I haven't gotten any alerts here recently. So the last one was the 7.0, now 6.9 down here near Macquarie Island, south of New Zealand. So once again, guys, a lot of earthquake activity around the world. We're seeing some unusual activity at the Yellowstone caldera in that region. Got some strange videos surfacing from the Yellowstone area, not directly at the caldera, but close in this region right here. And if you ask me, they're all one big family. The biggest supervolcano in North America is down here in southern Utah, and nobody ever talks about it. It's way down here. Then you've got, of course, Yellowstone, and then the swarm in central Idaho, the activity up here in Washington, the activity at Mount Rainier. They're all one big family, guys. So the activity off the coast of Oregon, which they're talking about that possibly being an issue here soon. Lots happening. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll keep you guys updated. What we got here? A super chat? Who did that? Reality Check VIP. Look back in chat for my links for Yellowstone Live. Thank you. I will, Reality Check. And thank you for the super chat. Is that a sticker or a super chat? It's a sticker. All right, cool. Appreciate that. That's very cool. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. Reality Check VIP. I will look back and look for the seismographs. Thank you. Yeah, we've gotten used to going to the Yellowstone every day over here at the homepage of the website. It's been inactive for 12 days in a row. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, right here's the link to the email. Reports at MrMBB333.com. Any photos, anything you think is interesting. If you want me to analyze something, I'd be glad to analyze anything you send in. If you have a large video that's too large to attach to the email, that happens from time to time. Just go right up to the next box that says, have a large video. It's a Dropbox. In fact, I'll show you. Watch. We'll click on it, and it takes you to the Dropbox. Drag and drop your videos in there. You can put photos in there as well if you want. Just somewhere at the top of the photo or video, please include your first name. You want to include your last, that's fine too. Location, general location, if that's whatever is preferable to you, just some location. And then the date, that'd be really, really cool. The Dropbox is the first thing I check every day, and send any sky phenomena things, any storm photos, anything you think is fascinating or anything you want analyzed, and I will get to it. I sure will, and I thank you in advance. Thank you, Necessary. Thank you for the kind words. How's everybody doing today? What about that Yellowstone, huh? Getting kind of wild up there. Take care of yourself, Deborah. Thanks for stopping by. 6.9, Laurel down south of New Zealand. South of New Zealand. Graham, yes, in trace amounts. Trace amounts. 0.03 to be exact. Which should be 0.00, but for some reason, 0.03 Graham. Good question. Long as it doesn't get any higher than that, I think we should be, okay, we're watching it. That's all we can do, right? Thank you, Deborah. Yes, Morals, the Macquarie Island region. Thank you, Tara. Todd, thank you, moderator. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button, guys. That pushes the video out there further. It's free, and it kind of helps the video get out there a little bit. That's all. What would happen to the U.S. if Yellowstone blew? April flowers. Well, there would probably be a lot of earthquake activity in the Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah area. And it would send, depending on the size of the eruption, the jet stream travels west to east. So the ash plume would rise up and travel west to east, occupying Nebraska, Wyoming, with a lot of ash and dust. The air quality would be off the charts, but it would just blanket the eastern, especially the northern tier of the United States with ash and different gases and things like that. So it would erupt and drift to the east. As far as the severity, anything that's a mystery. Nobody would really have that type of information. Hasn't erupted in over 700,000 years. So they say it's due. So we're seeing some activity. It shouldn't be a surprise. You know what I mean? Because the scientists have been telling us it's overdue based off of what they found in ice core samples all around the world. The frequency of the Yellowstone Supervolcano eruptions is, again, overdue. It should be happening. Is that weird looking for storm over Alaska? You showed us over the earthquake swarms. Oh, yeah, you're right, Graham. Good observation. Do you think that's causing the weirdness of the storm? Let me go back to where oh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Good observation, Graham. You don't miss a thing. Right there it is. So could that be, Graham, as you very keenly observant noticed, I wonder if that's revealing some sort of a magnetic anomaly there. Because it is weird. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's a weird shaped storm. It's big. And it is right by the earthquake swarm that's up there. So is that revealing a magnetic anomaly? A rogue EMP that's causing all these flashing lights all around the world? Maybe so, right? There's a possible culprit right there. And it does stem from that region right there. Let's back it up a minute. That is weird. That's all I can say. It's just a weird looking storm. It's got a weird presence. Like it too is trying to tell a story. It is telling a story. It's a form of energy going through there that's causing the void in the middle of the storm. It's a circulation, a center of rotation of probably high winds. Probably got some moisture in it too, but it's not a cyclone, but you can rest assured there's some high winds and some wave activity out there at the very least. And I heard there was and you guys can help me out here. I was going to do some, thank you, Todd, appreciate that. was there some water that disappeared up in Alaska here recently? I know we see that every once in a while. These water anomalies will show up around the earth. That was one I was looking into, the beach that grew. Oh, thank you, Raymond B. My pleasure. Thank you. Absolutely. Shout out to brother Cowboy Beef. What's up, Cowboy Beef? Right on. Thank you, Raymond. Appreciate that. Have you guys heard anything about the expanding beach up in Alaska? Graham, have you heard anything about the expanding beach up in Alaska? I heard there was a beach that grew here recently, very recently. Yeah, the volcanoes in Italy are indeed very hot topics for sure. Okay, I'm watching from Fresno. Hello, Fresno, California. Dayanara. Hi, Dayanara. Cowboy Beef. What's up, Cowboy Beef? All right, guys. Well, we have had a lot of information to process here. Strength to us all. Awesome Monday. Hey, you know what, guys? It is. And today is Monday. Watch how quick, and I don't know if it's just me and my family. Watch how quick Friday gets here. It seems like every time I turn around, and we're noticing the same, all of our family, it seems like it's Friday every time we turn around. This whole year, 2025, has gone by so fast. Do you guys think like time is moving faster? Your perception of time, does it seem like it's moving faster? I guarantee you it does with me. Okay, it's Monday, and it'll seem like a day or two, and it'll be Friday again. I'm telling you. Time just seems like it's moving so much faster. I hear you, Mary Jane. Yes. Big Scrub, never eat yellow snow. Very true. Thank you, Mary Jane. Dusty, blink or you're missing. I'm telling you. Something. Oh, thank you, Graham. Barter Beach in Alaska. I'll check it out. I've been looking into it, but I've been sidetracked by this Yellowstone thing today. Thank you, Willie Wayne. Chandra, Trina, Penny, Travis. Yes. And then there's other people that are feeling it too. I'm looking at the chat over here. Stephanie, yes. Anani, yes. I mean, everybody. Rich, Natasha. Time just seems like it's moving faster. We need to slow it down a little bit. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I even made a comment in the community post one time. I'm like, okay, it's Monday. Let's watch how quick Friday gets here. And it just seems like the next thing you know, boom, here it is, Friday. Time's moving faster. At least it seems like to me. Aloha Food Forest. Andrea, yes. And it's like 2025, organic machine. It's called the quickening. Thank you. Yeah, 2025 has gone by very fast. 2025 is probably one of the fastest years I think I've ever experienced on my journeys around the sun. Each year is another lap around the sun, right? Thank you, Graham. Yeah, that Pacific plate definitely is moving. I totally agree. Hello from Palm Beach Gardens, Yvonne. Thank you, Yvonne. Yvonne, you getting that Sahara dust down there? Probably are. You know what, Bob? You're right. In fact, my wife said that the other day. She says, like we're in an episode of Groundhog Day. You know, it's just every day over and over again. It's like Friday again, Friday again, Friday again. Wow, it does seem like time is moving faster. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I got through my list, all but one thing, and I'm going to save that. It's right, actually two. There's two things that I'm going to save for tomorrow's video. And I know most of you haven't seen it, so we'll share it in tomorrow's video. In fact, there's a couple more things I need to do to it, so it wasn't quite ready to put on the runway yet. If it's on the runway, then it's got its Sunday best on and it's ready for you guys. I'm not going to show it to you guys unless I've given it my very best work. That's what I like to do. I like to give you guys the best I can do. So it looks like there's something trying to form in here. You can see that little dry patch right there. Not dry, but wet. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. You can see it right there. I'd be very surprised if it did. As of right now, that's a no. Shouldn't be any activity in the Atlantic, Caribbean, or Gulf of Mexico for the next 96 hours. If there is, I would be very surprised. But right now, all eyes are on Yellowstone. The supervolcano is showing signs of activity. Very unusual activity, but not surprising, because keep in mind, guys, this is a supervolcano, so I would expect some kind of movement, and I've always said that. I would expect some kind of movement because it's a supervolcano, right? But what we're seeing with the ground bouncing, hello from northern Indiana. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Over 100 today with the heat index, ready for the fall. I hear you. Wow, that's hot for northern Indiana. Woo! Boy, that is hot. And you know it's humid up there too. You've got the warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf. Then you got the moist air coming down from the Great Lakes. Annabelle Chase, Star Family member. Ah, cool. Thank you, Annabelle. Yeah, you guys are getting a dose of humidity up there in northern Indiana. That is hot. In fact, I think you're close to what we're dealing with out here in Arizona. Of course, it's supposed to be hot. We're out here in the middle of the desert. Let's see what we've got shaking here in Phoenix. You ready for this? You ready? Here you go, Berlinda. $110. Woo! 110 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. But we're in the desert, you know? I mean, we can't complain. That's what we signed up for. We knew it was going to be hot out here. And boy, it is. It's hot during the summer. But the other 8 months of the year, you really couldn't ask for better weather. You really couldn't. But man, I'm telling you. Hello, Joe from Idaho. What's going on, Joe? Howdy, everybody. Listen, thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. It's been a good day. I've got some more material I'm working on. I've got some things to research up in Alaska. Good observation, Graham, on connecting those dots. That could be some sort of a magnetic anomaly up there revealing itself, huh? Yeah, very well could be. And maybe, just maybe, this is some sort of a magnetic anomaly down here off the coast of South America, because there were winds down here I measured today. And I go around the globe a couple of times a day looking for various things. I've done that for probably 15 years now. And when I saw winds down here off the coast of Uruguay at 90 plus, and in some areas 100 miles an hour, I was rather surprised. I really was. So we've got that weird storm down there. You got this strange anomaly up here. Could they both be a side effect of a magnetic anomaly? Because that would be magnetic north, and down there we're magnetic south. And then right out here is where you have the South Atlantic anomaly. That's a known anomaly in the magnetosphere. So they all kind of line up. Could be something to it. Could be something to it. Something we'll definitely keep a close eye on. That is for sure. All right, hit that like button, guys, if you don't mind. 104 degrees in northeastern Colorado. Good Lord, that's hot. And you're way up in the mountains. Woo! Yeah, 110, you're right. Cowboy beef, 110 cowboy beef. That is hot. And if you factor in even 10% humidity, wow. 10%, you say, well, that's not nothing. It is when it's 110. Weather ship probably the coast of Alaska. Deborah Irwin, yes. Got to cover that possible mothership coming our way. Crafts Master Game. Yeah, true. I am. I got it right here, buddy. Trust me, I'm watching it. Right there it is. I saw an update come out today, but it wasn't anything new. There was an article that came out, but again, nothing new to report. So I didn't share what they had because we've already talked about it. So it's just kind of moving in between Jupiter and Mars, getting a little bit closer with each passing day, obviously moving at around 50,000 miles an hour. It's gaining a lot of ground real quick. So I still don't think it's a comet, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. They say it is. And they've got the big toys, you know, the big telescopes, but I don't know. I'm not convinced. Here it is right here. I put it in fast forward. You can see it right there. Right there moving through. There's some say it's a mothership. Some say it's just an organic comet. But whatever it is, it's from another star. It is a total visitor to our solar system. It's not part of our family here at all. This comes from another star family. Right there. But I don't see any sign of a tail. Anything that resembles a comet right now. And that thing should have an abundance of material to go sublime right now. An abundance. Not seeing anything, but I'm still watching it, guys. You bet I am. I watch that every day, and I look for new information to share with you guys. And as of today, there, like I said, new article, same old information. They just kind of put a spin on the old story. So nothing new, nothing new. All right, guys. I know, Mary Jane, that's what I think too. Mary, I agree with you. I don't think it's a comet, but we'll have to wait and see. That's just my opinion. Your opinion, obviously, as well. It doesn't look like one. It's not behaving like one. Not behaving like one. Stacy, it's so hot in Illinois, I've gotten no eggs from my chicken in a week. Oh my goodness, that is hot. When the chickens won't lay eggs, it's hot. Wow. Unbelievable. Last time we crossed the galactic plane was probably 66 million years ago. That's true, Graham. Yeah. And they say one of those rocks impacted the Gulf of America. I know it does kind of look like a bug on the telescope lens. Doesn't look like a comet. That's N. There's another one that's N. This is 3I Atlas. They call it I because it's an interstellar traveler. That's where it got the letter I from. It means interstellar, from another star. So it's got a different molecular structure. They need to get up there and do some research on this thing. How cool would that be? If they can get close to it. I know if I was in charge, I would definitely try. You know I would. I'd be on it right now. You bet. All right, Stacy. Star family member, let's go. Thank you, Star family members. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Hey, JR Mole 70, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Listen, thanks for stopping by. I am going to hop off here and go grab some dinner. It's almost dinner time out here in Arizona. And we'll do this again tomorrow. I've got some things I'm working on that I know you guys are going to enjoy. I'm certain of that. And again, thanks for your time today, hanging out with me. How long have we been on here? About an hour or something like that? I don't know. I lose track of time. I get to going through all this information. I lose track of time. Next thing you know, though, it'll be Friday again. Watch and see. Time does indeed seem like it's moving faster. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.